Okay, it's time to get started. I'll call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Lawton City Council to order. Please stand for the invocation by Louis Poha Pacheco and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I will be praying in my Comanche name language. Ha'atame kona nama yuyumu kore narami yok tomaba. A wino tsara siko wino. Ta'a papani kure namana yuko taitsi unik. Marave ye kunikara anan satai katsame tata tuni patsun. Narami Jesus nami sutai. I kasokovi kanari anasaka upiko wino. Nanara mano wino nasa sumani nasaka kito yoyo epitu kavuni narami Jesus uri sutai na. Nanara mano wino so na ka wino da ni kama katiko taitsi kavuni narami Jesus. Tainan satai katata tuni patsun. Winix durix navinai kimara kena wuni wayuna. Uri sutaina itako mi wasokova yoyomukamia taiva teko pasove taisua ke ha one another me Jesus up God. Father, we thank you for your son Jesus Christ. Father, we thank you for the sun that shines upon our face each day. We thank you for the moon and the stars that light up the night sky, Father. We thank you for the clouds that bring the rain and the rain that fills our rivers, our lakes, and our ponds, Father, so that we all may have life. Father, I ask that you guide this council with every decision they have to make today, dear Father, in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, and thank you, Louis. Appreciate that. And please call the roll.
Hankins, Harris, Chapman, Burke, Hampton, Fortenbaugh, Johnson, Warren.
Okay, and now we've got some proclamations we're going to do. And the first is the National Therapy Animal Day. If you guys will please come forward, and of course, bring the therapy dogs or therapy animals. Better set this. Okay, well, we've got quite a crew here, don't we? This is great. And who's going to be the spokesman today? All right, and your name is?
Carrie Bramer.
All right, Carrie. Let me read this proclamation. Whereas the nonprofit organization Pet Partners, a national leader in demonstrating and promoting the health and wellness benefits of animal-assisted therapy activities and education with more than 10,000 registered teams making more than 3 million visits annually, created National Therapy Animal Day. Whereas National Therapy Animal Day serves to recognize and honor therapy animals for the amazing work they do, raise awareness and educate the public about the role therapy animals play in enhancing the health and well-being of humans, and honor the thousands of dedicated handlers who volunteer their time and compassion to brighten the lives of those in their communities by sharing their therapy animals. Whereas there are thousands of therapy animal teams serving in communities across the United States, April 30th has been designated as National Therapy Animal Day. Whereas therapy animal dog teams in the Lawton Fort Sill community play an essential role in improving human health and well-being through the human-animal bond, which is mutually beneficial relationship that improves the physical, social, and emotional lives of those therapy animal teams serve. whereas therapy animal dog teams make millions of visits per year in settings such as hospitals, nursing homes, schools, and hospice. And whereas therapy animal dog teams interact with a variety of people in our community, including patients in recovery, people with intellectual disabilities, seniors living with Alzheimer's, students, veterans with PTSD, people who have experienced crisis events, and those approaching end of life. I therefore, Stan Booker, now do hereby proclaim National Therapy Animal Day and encourage all of Lawton Fort Sill citizens to celebrate our therapy animals and their human handlers. Further, I publicly salute the service of therapy animal teams in our community and in communities across the nation, and I salute you guys. Let's give them all a round of applause. Okay, Carrie, tell us a little bit about it.
We are Paws with Love Therapy Dogs, a therapy dog organization here in Lawton. We've been here almost 12 years now. And all of those facilities that's listed in that proclamation we have visited. The hospitals, cancer centers, schools, libraries, nursing homes, VA centers, we've seen them all. And these dogs right here have done thousands of visits alone, let alone the other 30 dogs that we have in our group. So we are very, very honored that you would pick this day to honor our dogs. We salute our dogs every day, but we're honored to have one day that they can celebrate all of the therapy dogs.
All right, thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. Get overboard? Yeah, let's get all the dogs in here. This is a great idea.
There you go. Good girl.
Everybody smile or stick out your tongue.
All right, thank you so much.
much.
Appreciate what you guys do. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Hey. Okay, and our Citizen of the Month, I think, had a little family emergency. Is she still here? Citizen of the Month, Summer? I think she had a little family emergency, so we're going to put that off till the next meeting, okay? What'd they say? You want to come down and talk anyway? Now, I should have known that Christina would want to talk anyway.
Hey, I'm happy. I got to pet all the dogs.
There you go.
I got to kiss them even. Okay, hi. Oh, sorry, this is really loud. Christina Woodson, and this is Miss Emily Ellis and Cheryl Tate and Dana Parrish. We are with the Mayor's Commission, and as Mayor said, we were supposed to be giving a presentation to Miss Summer Hurley-Jacks today, who had to leave because of a family emergency, right? Okay, but we want to give a quick plug. If you know of somebody, a friend, coworker, neighbor, that is very instrumental in our town, in our community, that volunteers and is making a difference. You know, we have so many people out there that are. Let us know. We would love to recognize them. It doesn't have to be a woman. It doesn't even have to be an adult. Obviously, it can even be a canine. So if you know of somebody, we would love to hear, because you know what? We can't hear and know of them all ourselves. You guys are our eyes and ears out there. So if you know of someone, please let us know. We would love to honor them. Thanks. Oh,
Also, check out our Facebook page.
Yes. what she said.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. They do a great job keeping all these things up. Now we have the Lawton Area Transit System 20th anniversary. Ryan, who all you bringing up?
Limited on operators at the moment, so it's a little tough.
All right. Okay. So we love LATS, and we have a program coming up. Is it Friday or Thursday?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is
Okay.
our big 20th anniversary.
Okay. It's a good thing you told me that. Thank you. Okay, let's read this proclamation. Whereas the City of Lawton's transit system, operating as the Lawton Area Transit System, LATS, started in April 2002 to provide transportation service for the City of Lawton and has devotedly served the served residents of Lawton for 20 continuous years. Whereas the Lawton Area Transit System provides safe, efficient public transportation service to the citizens and visitors of the Lawton-Fort Sill community and continues their services to meet the needs of the people. And whereas the Lawton Area Transit System does an outstanding job supporting the local economy by connecting people to jobs, retail, medical facilities, and education facilities. Whereas the Lawton Area Transit System helps reduce traffic congestion, pollution, and improves the quality of life by promoting an alternative way to travel. Whereas LATS frequently goes above and beyond the call of duty, working long hours while working in rain, snow, extreme cold, wind, inclement weather, and even a global pandemic. Now, therefore, I, Stan Booker, Mayor, City of Lawton, do hereby honor and recognize the Lawton Area Transit System on their 20th anniversary. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's get a picture. All right, talk to us, Ryan.
All right. So typically every year we like to do a Tri-Transit Week, and we've had to put that on hold because of the pandemic the last couple of years. And this year, ironically enough, as we're all starting to get back to a little bit of normalcy, it happened to coincide with our 20th anniversary. And so all week we have kind of a different event that we're actually doing. And on Wednesday we are celebrating our 20th anniversary at the Farmers Market, where we're going to have the mayor speak and a couple others from Fort Sill, LPS, and a couple from the Council for the Blind to kind of talk about all the good things that they have inadvertently or just been a part of that have made their lives better with transit. And then after that, Thursday and Friday, we have a couple of more events. And then on Saturday, we actually have a customer appreciation day at our transfer center where we'll have bouncy castles, snow cone machine, hot dogs, all kinds of different things as kind of an appreciation and thank you to the citizens of Lawton. So,
All right, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you. Y'all look awful dapper there, too.
Thanks.
All right, next up is Safe Digging Month, and we have Tim Teal here with Summit Energy and MG Govia. Did I say that right? All right, and he's with All right, OK 811. That's the number we're supposed to call, and we're going to learn about here, right, before we dig. All right, whereas each year the nation's underground utility infrastructure is jeopardized by an unintentional damage by those who fail to call 811 to have underground lines located prior to digging. Undesired consequences such as service interruption, damage to the environment, and personal injury and even death are the potential results. Whereas Oklahoma's One Call and its 1,300 members promote the national Call Before You Dig number 811 in an effort to reduce these damages. Damage to any underground utility could result in service outages or worse, even injury or death. Designated by the FCC in 2005, 811 provides potential excavators and homeowners a simple number to reach their local One Call center to request utility line locations at the intended dig site. Whereas through education of safe digging practices, excavators and homeowners can save time and money, keeping our nation safe and connected by making a simple call to 811 in advance of any digging project, waiting the required amount of time, respecting the marked lines by maintaining visual definition throughout the course of the excavation, and Finally, digging with care around the marks. And whereas utilities and telecom services are more important to us now more than ever before, and parties agree that safe digging is a shared responsibility. Because more people work from home, there's more reliance on electricity, gas, telecom, water, and sewer lines. To know what's below, call 811 before you dig. And I hereby proclaim the month of April 2022 Safe Digging Month and encourage all excavators and homeowners throughout the country to always call 811 before digging. Safe digging is no accident. Let's give them a round of applause. All right.
Do you want to take it? Hi, I'm MG Govia, Education Outreach Liaison for OK11, and the proclamation said all the important stuff. But there's 3 good reasons to always contact OK11 before you do any digging. One is for yourself, right? If someone's digging in your backyard, you want to make sure you have water and telecommunications and all that stuff. 2 is for the vulnerable in our community that may have problems with their heat and air is out or their telecommunications out. And then, of course, the utilities themselves. We want to protect their bottom line. But most importantly is the person with the shovel. We want to make sure that that person returns back to work the next day, has a livelihood that is protected because we took the time to make sure that those lines were marked so they can dig safely around it. So please keep that in mind. Always contact OK11 before you dig. And real quick, tomorrow here in Lawton at the Comanche Fairgrounds, OK11 is hosting an excavation safety day. So if you own a shovel or know somebody who owns a shovel, bring them. And it's a free event at the Comanche Grounds starting at 9 o'clock. We'll teach you all things about safe digging.
All right, let's give them another round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, and now we move on to the reports by the mayor and council. I was notified this morning by Albert Johnson Jr. that his father passed, Albert Johnson Sr. Albert was probably the most respected individual in town, impacting many lives. And while I did not know Albert Sr. a long time, he had an impact on me and impacted our CIP because it was a 1-hour windshield tour of our city where much of the CIP was formed in my head. It had a lot to do with raising the standards. I won't go into the details, but the main theme was we have to expect more of ourselves. We have to raise the standard of what we expect from ourselves. We talked about things like dirty gutters that needed to be cleaned up. And we talked about taking care of property. If you're an owner, you should take care of your property. And how property that's not taken care of impacts a neighborhood and impacts crime. I'm going to miss Albert Johnson Sr. Wonder if you'd join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And reports by the council, we'll start with Ward 1.
I want to give a shout out to Jason, that's in charge of the auditorium. The storm broke out during the symphony, and he was just great at handling all of that. He didn't act afraid. I was afraid, but he didn't act afraid, and that was helpful. Got everything organized and did it in just a perfect manner. But when I thanked Jason at the end, he's one of those kind of guys that I like too. He said it wasn't me, it was my team that did it. And I always like to hear that because no one does it by themselves. So anyway, I was real proud of him, and I think Linda will
All
do
right.
that too.
Mr. Harris.
Yes, I'd like to echo your sentiments about Albert Johnson Sr. He was a friend of mine, and he was one who encouraged me much in my early years here and impressed upon me the importance of getting involved. Second, I'd like to say that the mayor and Councilwoman Johnson and I got to play bingo last week at McMahon Tomlinson Nursing Home with some, or we didn't play, we coached, I guess, the residents, and I just want to say, don't ever play bingo with the mayor, because he won 3 out of 5 sessions with his people, so we had his lucky shoes on or something, but he whooped us.
It was the coaching.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I encourage everyone to get out and see what's available as far as working with our geriatric citizens of this community, because a lot of times in those nursing homes, I'm in there every day. You know, it's not much, there's not much going on, and any involvement, as we all found out with those citizens, was greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Chapman?
Well, definitely, I will echo what Councilwoman Hankins said about Jason. He was so calm. I cannot tell you how calm he was, but he still always had that smile on his face when he was speaking in the microphone, and kept organized everyone from the balcony to come down. He had a plan, and I was very impressed with him. Also, Councilman Warren and I attended the MITE celebration this last week, in celebrating some youth who go through their program and learning positive ways to live, building character, team building, and looking for future careers. And I was so impressed with the dinner and the meeting, and I celebrate that organization.
All right, thank you. Mr. Burke?
Thank you. First, Albert Johnson Sr. Has been a friend of mine for a long, long time, and when I first got on council, I'll never forget, I got put on this group. It was called LEDA, and Mr. Shanklin appointed me and just pointed me in that direction, said, "You've got to be on LEDA, you've got to be on LEDA." And I thought, well, he said, it's about financial stuff, and, you know, we need you there. And I got there, and the room of people were talking about flowers and stuff, not financial stuff. And I remember thinking, I don't think I'm in the right place. And they'd actually gotten it wrong. Instead of LEDA, they sent me to LETA. So I immediately thought, well, I'm getting out of here. And Albert Johnson Sr. had met at a project that we were working on, that LEDA was working on long before me. And the LEDA budget at that time was less than $5,000 a year. And he looked at me, and I said, well, I got on there, and I told him the story, and he kind of chuckled, and he said, "God sent you here for a reason." And I remember thinking, Albert, I'm not so sure about all that, but okay, I'll stay. And I did, and I've loved it ever since, and I think it is economic development. I think that's exactly why God sent me to that meeting and not to the LEDA meeting. So I will miss Albert Johnson Sr. very much, and I want to say thoughts and prayers to his family very much. But I want us to talk about some good stuff. LEDA had their sidewalk groundbreaking last week, and I want to thank Michael and the staff and everyone for putting that together at the last minute's notice and making it such a nice event. I think Kim McConnell got an article with a lady that was walking down that small section of sidewalk that we had completed at that point, and Kim came to tell me the story that the lady said she walks that way, usually in the mud and dirt, to get her groceries from Walmart on a regular basis. That's her way of getting her groceries. And I thought, this is what this is about, is making accessibility for our community. So I'm very happy about that, and this is just the beginning of the first set of sidewalks. The second set will start from 38th and Gore, going up to 52nd there at Eisenhower High School. So the next thing is another LEDA event along with the City of Lawton. Saturday from 9 to 2, we will be having trash off at McMahon Auditorium. So look on the list of things. You can get on the website and find all the different kinds of things that you can bring that you normally cannot put out at your house, from medications to different kinds of oils and things like that. Just stuff that you can't normally put out. plus the stuff that you normally can't put out. So if you have a bunch of junk and you don't want to wait until your monthly bulky trash pickup, please bring it. We'd be happy to take it. If you've got old furniture that we can get rid of, we'd be happy to help with that too. Goodwill and a lot of other places will be there to help collect. Also on Friday, Lita will be planting, and we're going to do this annually, but we're going to be planting a tree at the 38th Street Kids Zone in honor of National Arbor Day. And so we'll have that planted, and we're going to start doing that annually. So we ask anyone that's out there to plant a tree. Yeah, Richard wants me to mention a new initiative that we have. It's Richard's idea, so don't boo me. But came up with an idea that we would kind of flip what has been a bad connotation into a good connotation. So every year we're going to have an event called the Shady 580. And so we are going to put shade trees all over Lawton because that's a whole lot better than what people thought they were talking about. So that's the way we're going to start it. You can blame that on Richard, I'm telling you. But I think it's a good idea, and so please get out and plant trees. Things are growing. Gosh, with the rain, how everything got green overnight. It was amazing. So a lot of good stuff going on, but from 9 to 2 on Saturday, me and Councilman Hampton will be out there collecting money and directing you in the proper direction. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Mr. Hampton.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I know this has been said. Albert Johnson Sr. was my principal in 63 and 1967. And I certainly want to say my condolences go out to the family as well as my prayers. I also want to mention a coinciding event to the trash off, and there's a car show for the police department that's going on this Saturday also. You can probably make both because it's going on from 7:30 to 3:30. So there's some good causes going on, some great cars that are going to be there, and a very good time. I think food trucks and whatnot. So that's at the Comanche County Fairgrounds, 7:30 to 3:30. So if you could make it out to that, make the trash off, get your trash out, and then go and have a good time at the car show. Thank you, Mayor.
And Mr. Fortenbaugh. And Ms. Johnson.
Just want to extend once again my condolences to the family of Mr. Albert Johnson. I remember hearing a lot about him growing up from my mother, and when I got to meet him, first thing he said was, "Hey, little Barbara." That's my mom's name, and so that was kind of an honor. So he always called me that, little Barbara, although he knew my name, and he'll be dearly, 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 dearly missed. Also, the Ranch Oak Association is preparing for their second annual memorial observance, which is going to be on May the 28th in the Ranch Oak area. This is for anyone citywide that would like to memorialize their loved ones that have passed on. And the names could be submitted up until May the 21st for $10 a name, and there's some items that you'll get for doing that, as well as the loved ones' names being submitted. So the Ranch Oak Association has a Facebook page with more information. Miss Eloise Love is heading that up, and you can contact her or contact myself, and we'll get you more information.
Okay, and thank you. And with that, we move on to audience participation. Anyone having an item of business to present to the City Council that does not appear on the agenda, please come forward at this time. How are you? And we need your name and address, please. Push the button on the mic. There you go. It's on now.
Hi, starting again. My name is Joe Bailey. I live at 2723 Northeast Euclid, Lawton. And I have an item well, first of all, let me address everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council, administrators, and the city attorney for taking time to listen to the concerns of the citizens. Lawton is a big enough city to have everything we need, but small enough city that the ordinary citizen can come before this group. And like I've mentioned many times before, I'm so grateful for what you do, and I'm so grateful that I was not elected when I ran for this. What I want to bring up today is what I believe is misinformation. One of the important city services is the sewage, taking care of that. And we've had articles in the paper about some of the problems with items that do not belong in the sewer system. But I think the misinformation was referring to the flushable wipes as being the problem. That's not true. I have a little science experiment here. In this first two packages, I have ordinary toilet tissue and flushable wipes. I put them in here overnight. As you can see, they are both starting to dissolve at about the same rate. Now here's the same products, toilet paper, and disposable wipes, several days old. They've almost completely disintegrated. Now here are the problem children. These are baby wipes, and these are disinfecting wipes. These have been soaking for over a month. These are the problems. So by vilifying the flushable wipe is doing a disservice, because that will discourage people from using and purchasing the real disposable wipes. Why don't they use them? Well, first of all, they're very expensive. They cost about twice what a baby wipe does. Baby wipes are plentiful. You can find them everywhere. And I can understand why people say, ooh, I don't want to put this in a trash can. I'll just toss it in the toilet. So anytime you come up with problems, you're supposed to come up with solutions. Well, I really can't help you there because it's a matter of education. But I think we need to let the public know that the flushable wipes do work, to look for them and to liberally purchase them, and two, not to throw the bad stuff in the sewers. That's all I have. Do you have any questions?
You were exactly 3 minutes, and unfortunately, we can't have conversations, so we can't ask you questions. But and that's because of the Open Records Act. But thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forward during this time of audience participation?
Shall I leave the mic on?
Yeah, leave it on. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
I'm some kind of wonderful.
Oh, yes,
Please state your name and address for us.
My name is Elle Sawyer, and I live at 7805 Northwest Swelco Avenue. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Yes, I appreciate you all. I just want to say that I've been disserviced by the Lawton Parks and Recreation. I have been calling and calling and calling and calling and calling to get some tennis nets at the 76th and Andrews Park in the Gray Water area, to get some tennis nets up there at the tennis courts, because I like to play tennis, but I can't play tennis if there's no tennis nets. And they say that there's like nets there, but there's no nets. The net that is there is on the floor, and it's been very used. And there's a hole slashed through it, so it's not very usable. And I just want some tennis nets there.
I'll tell you what we can do. The city manager will direct you to get with somebody, and we'll can work on that, okay? Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to come forward during this time of audience participation to discuss any item that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda prior to action and considered separately. Council, we need to pull item 4, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Are there any others? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda. Move to approve the consent agenda, pulling item 4, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Please call, are we voting or calling the roll? That's Need one more vote. Excuse me.
We need 7.
Consent agenda carries 7-0. This brings up item number 4. Consider approving the Youth and Family Affairs Committee nomination of a $75,000 grant for Lawton Public Schools to conduct summer STEM camp academies. So this was put on actually before the Youth and Family Affairs Committee met. They did not have a quorum last week, so they met last night in a special meeting. And during that special meeting, they reviewed the grant on the Lawton Public Schools, and they had not had time. The grant was submitted late. Partially that was my fault. We ran into some challenges as we were putting this together. And what the Youth and Family Committee recommended was that the grant be approved subject to their doing what they call an on-site interview, which is really just an interview about the program to make sure that the program is meeting all of the specifications that the Youth and Family Committee have. I want to commend the Youth and Family Committee on the tremendous job they've done. I never in my life imagined how much time these people were going to have to put in to review the applications and the programs. It's amazing. And they've done a tremendous job of reviewing those. And I certainly understand why they want to interview the Lawton Public Schools just to make sure everything's done. This morning I called the Lawton Public Schools and spoke with Brenda Hatch, who's been the lead on this, and asked her what the timetable was, and she said we need to get the registrations out today. So that kind of creates a little bit of an issue, obviously. They've done a lot of work putting this together, and I'm going to tell you the story how it all came about. I picked up the phone and called Kevin Heim, and the reason was during the time that we promoted the CIP, I spoke over 100 times about STEM camps throughout the city as a way to help kids be successful, which would eventually cut crime in the city, helping them keep out of the juvenile system. So we have to do STEM camps across the city in some way. And so when I called Kevin Heim and said, Kevin, if the city gives you $75,000, can you run STEM camps in 3 target neighborhoods, Ridgecrest, Pat Henry, and Lincoln? And he said, yeah, and we could probably match that $75,000 and add Eisenhower and Cleveland and what's the one on the east side? Carriage Hills. Thank you. So I was pretty impressed that they were willing, just like that, to join in this effort to help our kids with STEM activities. One of the comments that was made last night is this first year of doing this would target 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And one of the comments was made how important this age group is to get them engaged in activities like this before they get in middle school, because many times that's a trigger point of when we lose the kids and they go, let's say, the wrong way and get one foot in trouble, if not both. So I'm going to, by the way, I also, we have a STEM consortium here that consists of Lawton Public Schools, Cameron, and Great Plains Votech. And we're expanding that to other school systems around the area. And the idea is to continue to promote STEM, to help kids be successful, and to feed the pipeline of the engineers that we're going to be needing in our community. And in that STEM consortium, it's been about 2 weeks, we had a video call with NIMSI, the National Math and Science Initiative. And I told them about the STEM camps, and they were very excited, did not know of any community doing STEM camps in neighborhoods through the summer on a scale like we were talking about. I'm going to ask you, I appreciate the recommended to pass it contingent upon them going, but the schools need to know what's going on. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and approve this fully and still encourage the committee to go do their site visit or interview to make sure that everything is being done, and Brenda pledged to me on the phone that they would do whatever they needed to do to make sure they met the requirements of the Youth and Family Affairs Committee. So that's what I'd ask you to do, is give a motion to pass this wholly.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we go ahead and pass this. This is called STEAM, which I was glad to hear because that includes the arts, because I'm not an engineer kind of person. So it's a STEAM camp, and it sounds real promising. And if we approve this today, we can get this started this summer, in June. So well, let's get going.
Okay, so we do have a motion for full approval? Is it okay for full approval?
And I'll second that.
And we have a second discussion or debate?
I just have one thing to say, just on behalf of the committee who brought this part up about the contingency for to have a format and standards and things like that. We understand that Lawton Public Schools will complete the process like everyone else who completed the process, but I just wanted to speak on their behalf as to why they did make the recommendation for this. So I agree with the program. I like the program. Just wanted to speak on behalf of the committee to make sure that they know that we do support what they said, and that we do trust that Lawton Public Schools will follow through with the rest of the process.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion or debate? Please vote. And the motion carries 7-1. Thank you, council. That brings us up to item number 11. I'm sorry? 7-0. 7-0, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said 7-1. Okay, item number 11. Why don't we go ahead and declare abstaining from all of these items? Ms. Johnson, item number 11, 12, 13, 14. 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I will be abstaining from 11, 12, 13, and 14 because I'm a member of the organization.
Okay, thank you. Item number 11, consider awarding contract RFP CO 22039 concession lease Grandview Sports Complex and the associated lease and non-exclusive concession operation agreement to LaSalle Optimist Club of Lawton for 1 year, for a 1-year term.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval and a second. Please vote.
No, I've got a
go
comment.
ahead.
Yes, on the information that we have on, it'd be basically be page number 12 of the contract. On one page, it says the percentages of gross sales that be paid to the city of Lawton is 23%, but then moving over into the actual contract on page 3 of 12, it says 22%. Just like to clarify that.
Good catch. What page was that?
Okay, if you go to the 12th page, it actually doesn't have a number, but it's the page that's not, that doesn't have a page number on it. Proposal at the top, it says LaSalle Optimist Club, and then it has handwritten and percentage of gross sales to be paid to the city of Lawton, 23%. It's the 12th page over, though. And then if you go further to the right, 1, 2, 3 pages in the section 2.3 terms and conditions, it says 22%. Yes, I stay up too late at night.
That's a good catch. Will Christine?
It would be 23%.
Keith? It's 23?
It would be 23%. It's a typo that we didn't catch.
Okay, will you amend your motion, please? Thank you.
Amend my motion that,
Also, you notice that they filled in the date, 9th of April, and I was told we're going to change that because the council has to approve it before it's a legitimate contract.
oh,
Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to approve it with item 2.3 amended to 23%, with the date amended to the date of approval, today's date.
April 26th.
There you go.
okay, I'll amend my motion to make the percentage
Paragraph 2.6.
Paragraph 2.3, 20 to 23%, and the date to be April the 26th, 2022.
And is that your second?
I will second that.
Okay, discussion or debate? Please vote. Need one more.
The next two are the same?
Okay, we need one more vote to finish this out. We need 6 people. Okay, we have, this carries 6-0. Okay, do we have this problem with?
6 to 1, Mayor.
6
Or
to
six-
1
six,
abstention.
yeah.
6 with 1 abstention, 0 no's.
Number 12 has the same issue.
Does 13 and 14?
I haven't checked it yet.
Are they the same pages and everything? Surely they are. Okay, item number 12, consider awarding contract RFP CL 22040 concession lease Oshleger Park and the associated lease and non-exclusive concession operation agreement to LaSalle Optimus of Lawton for a 1-year term.
Move to approve Section 2.3 to 23% and the date of April 26, 2022.
Second?
Second.
And a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Number 12 is the same way.
Okay, the item,
To 12.
We just did 12.
Oh, okay, number 13 is the same.
number 12 carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Okay, now we move to item 13. Consider awarding contract RFP CL 22041 concession lease Eastside Park and the associated lease and non-exclusive concession operation agreement to LaSalle Optimus Club of Lawton, Oklahoma for a 1-year term.
Move to approve with Section 2.3 to 23%, the date of April 26, 2022.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. An item carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Item number 14, consider extending RFP CL 21-021 concession lease McMahon Park to LaSalle Optimus Club of Lawton, Oklahoma, and authorize the city council and mayor to enter into a concession lease agreement for same.
Okay, move to approve item 14 with Section 2.3 to 23%, a date of April 26, 2022.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Yes.
On the page 13, 1 of 13 of this one, it does say 22%.
Page 1 has 22%. So you'd have to amend page 1 plus the section of the paragraph that you previously amended plus the date.
I'll amend my motion to make 23% on page 1, 2.3 to 23%, the date of April 26, 2022.
Second.
Yeah.
Is this going to get us cleaned up?
God knows, I hope so.
Yes. It does, his motion would be accurate.
Okay. I heard a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. 6-0 with 1 abstention. Thank you. Okay, now we move on to staff reports. Thank you, Keith. Received finance report for March 2022. Michael.
Mayor, Joe Don will be giving a financial report for this month, and you'll hear a lot of the same language that we heard yesterday in yesterday's budget briefing. So with that, Joe Don, please proceed.
First of all, I'd like to direct you to page 4 of the report, which is the sales tax analysis. And I just want to point out that according to the sales tax analysis, the city is still operating very strong. We've got an accumulative collection of about 12.6% above where we were at this same time last year. But I do want to point out that this is a decline, the second month of a decline that we've seen in sales tax. February to March declined 2%, and February to April was a decline of 9%. This is something that we're going to be watching very closely, as we do expect this trend to continue, and we could be looking at upwards to around 10% the decline in sales tax and our purchasing power over the next few months. Okay. With that, if I could direct you to page number 6, which is the general funds analysis.
Can I ask a question just to back up just 1 second? Sure. So, okay, and we're in 2022, and we're looking at the last 2 months of March and April in sales tax collections, correct?
Correct.
So, to me, they look like they're up compared to last year in 2021. Am I wrong?
Well, they are up from last year, but they're down from February of this year.
4.9 to 4.8, 4.
We've seen a 2% decline.
I understand what you're saying. I'm tracking. Okay, go ahead.
Line item, February's line item would actually be December's receipts.
That would be correct.
So we expect that to be the highest, don't we?
We do expect that to be high, but we do expect some carryover in January that I don't think we saw.
And the previous year, it looks like we had a similar decline.
Yes, we do.
And the year before that, it looks like that's pretty.
That's a pretty steady decline, and we do expect a little bit of a decline. But in today's economy, it's just a little concerning.
I know it is, but I just need clarification so I understand the numbers. Now, on the bottom of 2022, it says -9%.
Because that column is a comparison to the full year of January 2022, not just the 10 months.
So we've got 2 more months to make that up.
Yeah, we've got 2 more months to make that up. If you look down at the bottom of the page where it says 12.6, that's a month-to-month comparison without the 2 months of May and June added in.
So if you're the math guy, so the next 2 months with those numbers put in that you project will probably be the next 2 months, which I'm pretty sure you're good at that. We'll surpass. We won't be a 9% negative.
No, we will not be at a 9% negative. We will still be around 10 or 11%.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Above where we were at last year.
Okay.
But I don't expect us to have the percentage jump we saw last year from April to May. We saw roughly $1.5 million increase in sales tax. I don't expect that this year.
That had to be that's an anomaly. Something happened.
Something's right. Yeah, something I don't understand.
That would just be a collection. That could be a number of different things from the tax commission that's been passed on to us. That could be a settlement that they received at the tax commission and then passed on to us. It could have been a lot of other things that happened that would have made that.
Because it really looks like to me we're somewhere around 45 to 46, 47 million a year in sales tax collections. Then all of a sudden we jump to 51 in 2021. Is there anything attributed to that, Mike?
Well, I think what you're looking at is a lot of people were stuck in their homes or at least had to shop local, right? And also use tax was up during that time period. So I think that portion contributes to that increase. We did see that across the state. From what I understand, most cities saw an increase like that during that time frame. We can go back and double check that. But I think one of the points that Jodan is hopefully trying to make here, and I think he is making, is sales tax is up, and it will be up 10 or 11%, depending on where we finished the year. But if inflation is already at 8.5+% and projected to be 10% by the time we reach June, essentially we're flat. With the sales tax is great, but the inflation is killing us. So
No, we get
Right.
that, yeah.
So down here, just below those numbers, column 2021, 2022, it says sales tax breakdown. What time frame is that for?
Where are you looking at, sir?
Straight below that, it says sales tax breakdown, and it divides it into general operations and the 2019 Propel.
Okay, that would be the breakdown of our 2022 sales tax.
To
What goes
date.
to general operations, and then what goes to the Propel sales tax.
To date.
To date, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So there's 2 months left, and of course, what I'm looking at is we planned on 23.5 on Propel, and with 2 months to go, we're at that number or a little bit. Thank you very much. That's all my questions. Anyone else? Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. Looking at page 6 is our general fund.
Hey, Jodan, can I stop you for just a second? Is your mic on or off? Because the green light says it's on, but we don't hear you real well.
It says that it's on your mouth. There you go.
Okay.
I need to lean in?
As we used to say in the 82nd, you need to lean forward in the saddle.
I'm not used to having to lean in on a mic. One of the things I want to point out on the general fund revenues, let me get my notes up where I can see them a little bit better, is that right now all the revenue streams are really looking good as far as our budget is concerned. When we look across everything without the reducing out the or taking out the transfers, we're about 5% ahead of where we were, about 5% ahead of our budget. And now we've had to transfer quite a large amount of funds into the general fund to help make up for some contracts that we've awarded or encumbrances that we've made. Overall, the expenditures overall are not quite so good. We're about 25% more than what we would have expected to be at this time if we were spending money evenly across all months. Personnel services are at about 90% of what would be expected at the end of March. And then, but our materials and supplies and other services and charges are about 115% of what we would have expected them to be at this same time. And where that's important is that these two categories account for the expenditures that we talked about yesterday that we're seeing increases on, such as tires, fuel, utilities, and things such as that, chemicals for our plants. We're up substantially on those as we discussed yesterday. And then if we look at our capital outlay for the general fund, to date, we are right about where we've expended 100% of what we were expending, either expending or encumbering for capital outlay for the general fund. On the enterprise fund side, it's, again, excluding transfers, we're about 7% above where we would expect to be at this time of year. And this is on page 16 of your report. And I'm going to get down to that page. But we're taking out the transfers, we're about 7% above where we would have expected to be if we were collecting money evenly across the years. As far as expenditures are concerned, we see that overall we are approximately 4% above where we would need to be. But what we're seeing is that personnel services are about 15% below where they need to be. where we would have expected them to be. That means we're doing more with less people. I'm not saying that we're not wearing our people out, but we're doing more with less people. And our other services and charges are above what would we normally expect by about 7%. And again, we've expended about 100% of our capital outlay that we were planning on spending this year. The capital outlay expenditures are pretty consistent. We try to purchase those evenly throughout the year. We may not have received everything, but we have got it on order and encumbered the money for it. To sum it up, what I'd like to say is that first, I think we need to really give kudos to our division directors and our department heads. These people have worked tirelessly to control their budgetary spending in some unprecedented times when we are seeing huge increases. Like we talked yesterday. Well, we expected the December CPI showed to be about 7%, and we're at about 8.5 at the end of March, so it's increasing about a half a percentage point per month. All the prediction models that I've seen predict our CPI to be somewhere between 10 and 15% by February 23rd, or February of 23. We could be looking at somewhere around 15% increase. We have not seen double-digit inflation increases like this since 1981, and if they get as high as 15%, we'll be higher than what one of the highest years we've ever had that on record, and that was 1980 when it was 13.5%, 85%. Right now, what we're seeing in our expenditures average out to probably be about 123% price increases between all the, they range anywhere from 7% for vehicles to 130% for chemicals for our treatment plants. And some of these things we've just got to buy. We can't operate our treatment plant without chemicals. We can't repair our roads without rock. We can't do things without some of these products. And I guess that's a long way of saying our department heads have done a wonderful job in controlling their budget and still trying to maintain the services that the city of Lawton and the citizens of Lawton expect. And with that, I could answer any questions that you may have.
Doesn't look like there is any. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Michael, do you have any other reports?
Well, I can add some more if you want, Mayor, but no. We're good.
What I want is a motion to go into executive session. Have a motion? Do we have a second? And we have a second. Call the roll, please.
Harris. Chapman. Burke. Hampton. Fortenbaugh. Johnson. Hankins.
Check, 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 check. Check, 1, 2, check, check, check. Check, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check, 1, 2, check, check, check. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2, check. Check. It's been rerouted. Check, 1, 2, check, check. Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2, check, check. Check. Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, check, check, check. Check, 1, 2, check. Okay.
Okay, we're back from executive session. Call the roll, please.
Chapman. Burke. Hampton. Fortenbaugh. Johnson. Hankins. Harris.
Okay, before we get to the executive session items, we need to waive the rules and reconsider items 11, 12, 13, and 14. City Attorney is wanting us to table those for further review to be brought back at the next council meeting. So if somebody would make a motion to waive the rules for reconsideration of item 11, 12, 13, and 14.
So moved.
We have a motion for reconsideration and a second. Discussion or debate? Please call, are we calling the roll or voting? Vote, please vote. Did we lose someone?
Somebody want to vote? No, she's abstaining.
Oh, she abstained.
Oh, okay. We have 6-0 with one abstention. The motion to reconsider carries. Can we do all this at once, or we need to do each individually?
You can do them all at once.
Okay, so if somebody will make a motion to table items 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I'll make a motion that we table items 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 6-0 with one abstention. Now we'll go to executive session item number 19. John?
Pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council convened an executive session to discuss the pending action in Comanche County District Court titled Jerry Eiler versus the City of Lawton. I understand there's a motion for this agenda item.
I move the council reject the settlement offer submitted to the city by Jack Dawson, attorney representing Gerald Eiler, in the case of Gerald Eiler versus City of Lawton.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote, or call the roll. We're voting? Okay, please vote. And the motion carries 7-0. Moving us to item 20. John?
Pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, council convened an executive session for the purposes of receiving a presentation from the Vista Trust Authority pertaining to the potential redevelopment of the retail portion of Central Plaza, formerly Central Mall, including the possible transfer of property, financing, and the creation of a proposal to entice businesses to remain or to locate within the Central Plaza property, the public disclosure of which would interfere with the potential redevelopment and violate the confidentiality of the businesses involved. I understand there is no motion on this agenda item.
Okay, moving us to item number 21. John?
Pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, council convened an executive session to discuss a pending claim regarding Republic Paperboard LLC, and I understand there is no motion on this agenda item.
We have a motion for adjournment? Motion.
Fortenbaugh. Johnson. Hankins. Harris. Chapman.